Hi everyone, welcome to today's stop motion tutorial. We're going to be doing a stop motion with these candles. This is the first video of our 30 days of stop motion where I show you really simple, quick stop motion tutorials that you can do at home, whether you are a lifestyle creator, whether you are a product-based business. There will be something for everyone. And then also whatever I do, you can adapt it to your niche or to whatever you're shooting with. Here is a look at the final stop motion that we're going to be doing today. This is actually inspired from another stop motion that I did. I think I shot it back in 2021, and just this year, it's really picked up a lot of traction on Pinterest. So I've decided to do a quick tutorial for you guys so you can kind of see how we put everything together. As this is the very first tutorial in this series, I'm going to be running through some of the equipment and how we set everything up, but the next couple of tutorials will be a little bit more fast-paced, where we'll be going through in-depth everything that we're using and how I'm putting everything together. I'm going to be using my phone to click this. This is the iPhone 13 Pro. You can use your Samsung, your Google, whatever you shoot with, that's completely fine. You can also use your DSLR or your point and shoot camera. Just make sure that when you're using your DSLR or your point and shoot, that you know how to use the settings on the camera, you know how to focus, you know how to adjust the lighting, you know how to keep the lighting consistent as well throughout each of the shots. But just for ease, and to be honest, my personal preference is just to use a phone. With my phone, I'm going to be using a phone mount. This is going to be linked down below, but if you just look at phone clip, phone mount on Amazon, it'll also come up for you for your country. And then I'm going to attach this onto my tripod. This is a Digitech tripod, and I have a full unboxing and how to use this tripod as well on my channel. So I'm just going to adjust this like this. First, I'm going to attach it at the bottom here of the phone mount. Close that, put that on, and screw that on. Okay, so this is basically my setup. I also have a remote clicker, which I'm not going to be using today because it is out of battery, but a remote clicker will help you a lot, especially when you're clicking stop motions, because when you have your phone set up here and say I'm doing my stop motion over here, instead of having to always walk back to my phone and then come here and then walk back to my phone, I can just stand here and shoot. And when, especially because of stop motion, it can get pretty tedious because you're just doing small movements and you're taking 200 or 300 pictures. For this video, it's going to be a little bit less, but when you're doing a longer one and you're taking more photos, so having something like this can really be helpful. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be using my MacBook Air. I think this is the 2018 model, and all we're going to do is just do a simple screen mirror. If I was being lazy, I might skip this altogether. If I was working with a small enough surface where like my phone is right here, my product is right here, I can just shift back and forth. But because we have a bigger setup for the purpose of the tutorial as well, I prefer to have something like this set up, so I don't have to always be bouncing back and forth. Now, the screen mirroring does lag a little bit when you're using video, but it works perfectly fine when you're using photos. So let's get this set up. I have two candles here that we're working with. They're from Bath & Body Works. One is the Fresh Balsam and the other one is the Watermelon Lemonade. All right, okay, so next I'm gonna put my camera right over here. I'm gonna be using like this edge of the table so I can freely move things around instead of trying to put my camera like this and then move a little bit like this. Okay, I've pointed the camera slightly down. It's not completely straight like this because I want to be able to see the inside of the candle because I'm going to light them. What I'm also going to do is, because I have like just too much happening in the background and the candles are a little bit smaller, is I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to be using just like the 3x zoom. This will be available if you have anything above the iPhone 12, I believe. The first one is there. You can see like both of my candles are not fitting in the frame. So just move the tripod up. Yeah, and then let's see. Still a little bit more, I think. So what I've done is just move the tripod a little bit more up. So there's like a little bit more distance between the tripod and my products. And now I'm just going to try and position the product Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just gonna adjust this camera a little bit. I felt like it was a little bit crooked, so I adjusted it a little bit. Okay, so you'll notice that there are some grid lines. In the middle, you'll see that there's a rectangle, there's 4 corners. I want my products to be on those 2 corners. So I want my product to be in this corner, and then this corner over here. And then also the other thing that I would like is in between the products, that there's some table space, that they're not overlapping like this. And then also that my labels can be seen. What I've done with the labels is instead of starting them like completely facing the front, I've angled them kind of towards each other. So this one is facing this way, and then this one is facing that way. Just a little bit of styling kind of thing that I like to kind of avoid it looking too like a grid, I guess, too straight. And then I'm just gonna move this forward just a little bit. Okay, I don't wanna move this. As you guys can see that there's a lot of space in the front portion of the candle, but I don't wanna move this any more forward, because remember when I post this on Instagram, at the bottom, your username will come, your caption will come. On the side over here is where you're gonna get your share button, your comment button. So I wanna leave these things purposefully empty like this. So I'm happy with this starting position. And because I mentioned my remote clicker is not working, I'm gonna ask Farhan and he's just gonna tap on the screen to click the images for me, or else I'm just gonna have to keep like moving forward and back, and it kind of like puts me out of focus. Even though when you put a stop motion together, it is a video. When we click a stop motion, we're actually clicking a series of pictures. And what we do is that we click the picture and then we move the object. You can also shoot a video where you shoot like small portions, or you shoot the video and you turn the things and you remove your hands from the frame. That's also an option. But today what we're going to be doing is shooting a series of photos. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shoot my first image. I'm gonna go in and I'm going to turn the product. I'm gonna remove my hand from the frame, and then I'm going to click the picture. So a lot of you guys ask, like, how are you removing your hand from the pictures? What I'm doing, or how are you removing your hands from the video, is I'm actually turning the object, removing my hand from the frame, clicking the photo, and then going in and removing it. So it kind of looks like the products are moving by themselves. I could also move this candle in 90-degree increments, which would mean that my candle would move 4 times. And then this video, I would take 4 photos and string them together to do the complete section. But this would be a lot more choppier. For this one, we're not gonna try to do a super smooth one. We're probably gonna move the candle maybe by like 20, 25 degrees, like around each time. Definitely that you can see that it's moving, but it'll also be a quicker process. So basically with the stop motion, you have something like 5 frames per second. So you have 5 photos every second. That is something that I feel like trips a lot of people up. And then people also question saying like, this is a video, it's not stop motion. They're basically kind of like the same thing, where stop motion is just less frames in a video. All right, so let's get started. What we're gonna do is we're gonna click the first image, and it's going to be just of this setup right here. I'm gonna make sure I'm really happy with this final shot. And actually, before we start, just to make sure that the candles don't go in and out of the frame, I'm gonna get a marker and I'm gonna mark the position of the candle, so I'm always moving it in that same area. We're gonna try using the white marker because my table is white as well. Let's get started. So I'm gonna click my very first clip, but to make sure that the focus doesn't continue to shift between the 2 products, or when I remove the lid, or the lighting doesn't continuously adjust, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lock the focus. If I don't lock the focus, every time like my hand is gonna come in the shot, you can see it kind of shifts the focus around, and that's going to really destroy your stop motion, right? So you're not gonna have like perfect images. It's going to constantly shift up and down like that. And your stop motion, it's not going to be stop motion. It's just going to be a very jerky video. I'm going to long press on the green candle right over here. So now even if my hand comes in front like this, or anything shifts a little bit out of focus, the focus or anything shifts, the lighting changes outside, it's not going to shift around too much, okay? So you can see the little yellow bar on the top. The auto exposure and then the auto focus is locked. So the focus is locked on here and the exposure is locked as what it is. So even if it gets a little bit brighter, it won't do like a automatic adjustment. Now we start. This is my first image. I'm gonna tap on like taking a photo, the capture button, and you have to be very, very sure to not move the tripod around. If you move the tripod around, instead of your products moving, it's going to be your camera moving, and that produces two very different stop motion results. Though if your tripod is moving around, that's not a stop motion video whatsoever. In a stop motion video, your camera is still while everything is going to, well, in this stop motion video, you can have other types, but in this video, my camera has to be still and these items are going to be moving in small increments. Let's get started. So Ganesh, can you click the first image for me? Next, I think I'm gonna move this one anti-clockwise and this candle clockwise. So they're moving not both in the same direction, but I'm gonna move them inwards. I think this is slightly different from the original stop motion that we had, but just wanted to do something different. Okay, so I'm gonna try and move also each time the candle like in the same increment, so like 20 degrees like that, instead of moving it like, be really careful not to have like one movement is 20 degrees and the next one you did, a 90 degrees change, because it makes your video a little bit more choppy. It'll be much smoother if it always moves in the same increment. I'm gonna make sure my hands are not in the frame. Let's move this first one. And then I'm gonna move this one. And you can see that I've already like shifted the candle a little bit. So let's just bring it back. And I'm gonna move this one a little bit. And I'm gonna make sure my hand is out of the frame. I'm gonna move back so my shadow is not on anything. You can see my hand is coming in this, like the lid right over here. So I'm gonna make sure nothing's in the frame. I'm gonna move back from the frame and then click the second image. Let's move it again. And then just bring it back to the original circle. Move it again. Okay, get out of the frame. Right now where I'm standing, the window is that way, so the light is falling this way, my shadows are falling that way. It's a little bit easier. If I was standing there, I would have to be really conscious about my shadow falling, or I would even be really conscious right now of, I have all of these other items like, my peppermint stuff, that they're not obstructing the view, and I'm not also gonna move them. I'm not gonna close the curtains or anything like that. And we're gonna try and shoot this as fast as possible because it's a slightly cloudy day and I don't want it to become overcast, because right now I don't want the lighting to change. Also don't wanna shake the table as I'm moving this, because it's just gonna have little shakes in the product, and again, not going to be as smooth as I want it to be. Let's rotate. If you accidentally click an image twice, that's fine, but you ideally don't want to miss clicking an image. I'm gonna spin it again. All right, so we're almost kind of done with moving it. One other thing that I would say is that when you are moving stuff, is that because like this, candles that have a little label on it, you want to make that you're moving both of the candles at the same pace. So not one candle is moving faster than the other. We both want them to show their logos at the same time, or return back to their original position at the same time. So now this section of it is done. Next, I want the lids to come off. So we're gonna slowly move the lids off the candle and then off the frame, and then we're going to light each of the candles. So let's start with the lids. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have this lid going this way and this lid going this way, just so it takes up a little bit more of the screen space. If I have this lid just coming off here, then it like disappears way too quickly. So let's take one more final shot of this is what it looks like. So before I move the lids, I'm gonna use some double-sided tape and I'm gonna put it underneath the candle, just so the candle base itself doesn't move and it's only the lids that are moving. I'm gonna use the smallest amount because this thing is pretty strong and I don't wanna have my table getting super sticky. You can also just use regular tape and fold it over. That I find is less sticky. Okay, I don't want to shift the candle around too much because I don't want to lose like the label position. I'm gonna try and get it in the center. Okay, let's do the next one. I'm gonna click the final image again. Now let's start moving the lids. Hold the candle down and move the first one. Just so you can see, it's just balancing right on the edge there. And then same thing, balancing right on the edge here. And now, just moving them across. I want them to both, like the lids again, to move in unison. I don't want one candle to open up like faster than the other. Okay, now I'm gonna lean it a little bit like this. And probably next time what I would do is just use regular tape folded over, because this tape has a little bit of an elevation and it's making the candle slightly wobbly. So what I should have done is maybe place like 3 pieces of tape so it's like more stable, because that's also making like the lids coming off wobbly as well. And then let's try to move this. I don't know. Okay, this is definitely not going to stay on the edge here, but again, you could use some tape and get it to stay. Again, I want the lids to disappear from the frame at the same time. So right now this gold one is moving a lot faster than the silver one. So I'm just going to move this here and move this like a lot more so it kind of catches up. When I'm lighting this at home, what I would do is remove the candle and then light it. But we can do that. So I'm going to use this toothpick. Hopefully I set nothing on fire. And we're gonna do 1 wick at a time for each candle. The last time I did this, I forgot to light 1 candle. So here's to remembering to light both. All right, guys, we're gonna do stop motion with the side of baby because she's crying and she wants to be featured in our stop motion series. 1, and then 2. Now, I'm not going to blow out these candles because we don't need to. We can use the magic of editing. And I'm going to show you how exactly we create the stop motion. We're not going to blow out the candles and put the lids back on. Let's get to the editing so we can use some editing magic. Let's edit our reel. So I am screen recording this. I'm just going over to Inshot. I'm gonna click video and I'm gonna click new. Then I'm gonna go over to my photos, because remember we clicked photos of everything. I'm gonna scroll down and just start right at the beginning. So I'm gonna go over to the first image and then I'm going to select. I'm gonna select them in order. So when they're imported into Inshot, they're also imported in order. All right, so now the files are there. They've all imported as a picture, and you can see on the corner here, it says 5.0, which is like 5 seconds. But when we have something at 5 seconds, it's going to be playing way too slowly. That means each photo that we clicked is going to be playing for 5 seconds. What we want to do is actually tap on the photo, click duration, and reduce the duration to, let's do 0.2 seconds. And I'm going to click the double tick button right there and apply it to all the clips. Okay, let's have a look and see if that works. Okay, I felt like that was a little bit too slow, so I'm just gonna put it at 0.1. And let's look at that again. Okay, I think it worked much better at 0.1. I'm pretty happy with it. I don't feel like there's any duplicate images, or if there is, there has been some changes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to export this file. Now we have exported the file. We're gonna go back into this file and I'm gonna press plus, and I'm actually gonna add in the video that we just exported. And then I'm gonna tap on that and I'm gonna go to reverse, which is right at the end. So I'm gonna reverse that video. And then it's currently 5.5 seconds, and I'm just going to trim it 0.1 second so that last image isn't repeated again. All right, let's play it. Okay, so that's how I have reversed the video without doing everything again. Another thing you could just do is, instead of having the candles turn around again at the end, I think I just quite like it when the lid comes back off, and that's actually the last shot. So I'm gonna just trim that. I think the original video, it was a little bit different, but for this one, this is the vibe that I'm liking. And then also, I feel like if you wanted to, you can also have just maybe those last 3 clips of the wicks turning on. I want that to be a little bit slower. So I'm just gonna increase it to 0.2 seconds. All right, so I'm gonna do that process again. I'm just gonna delete the video that I imported, and then I'm going to save the video that we just clicked, do the same thing, go back, add that new video in again, the one where I just extended the latter half of it. Let's go reverse. Delete that first clip. Let's just play the ending. Yep, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's have a look at the final video. You can do this transition with drinks, you can do it with your earrings, you can have the earrings like coming on a little stand, coming up, coming off, turning them around, but just really simple, can be done with a lot of products, can be done if you're making maybe like a mocktail at home or a bowl of pasta or something like that. Really, really easy transition. One thing that I would just recommend that you do is have a note like, okay, my bowl is gonna come in from this side, my pasta is gonna come in from this side, the sauce will come in from that side. Like have that like kind of like a choreographed dance, know what's gonna happen when. If you have a small business or you're a creator and you wanna learn how to actually use these stop motions to grow your Instagram account, I'm gonna link my Reels course down below. It's where I take you from A to Z on how to create content and grow your account. Not only do I teach you about factors that can make your reel viral, but also your shooting, your setup, transitions, how to edit, adding text, all of that. We also have lots more advanced tutorials and transitions in my course. If you enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We're doing another 29 days of these videos, and do give this video a thumbs up. And if you have any special requests or any particular product that you're working with or stop motion that you've seen online that you would like us to do a tutorial on, drop it down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.